Hello everybody, I am Josh and welcome to this Sims 4 house building video. Now today I am building a very interesting house in the Sims 4, which is called Angles because there are quite a lot of angles on this house, I guess. I don't know. It has a very unique shape. Definitely not something I've done in the Sims 4 before now. And you can see here, as I'm starting out with the shape of it, it has quite a bit of triangular aspects to it. So you can see here, there's that two triangles in the front, and then there's like two in the back, and it's quite an interesting shape. And as you can see, by the top-down view of this house, it's going to be very hard to furnish because there's really no normal rooms. They're all kind of weirdly shaped and stuff. But the main feature of this house is the front, the way it kind of I don't really know how to describe it, crisscrosses itself there, as you can see, which I thought looked really cool. And that's why this is one of my favorite houses I've built thus far. It just turned out really cool. And it's also one of the first modern houses I've done in The Sims 4. That's not necessarily true, actually. I did build, I think, one other before this. But this is, I think, my first ultra-modern house build. So that's quite interesting. And yeah, so you can see here, I'm putting in a pool, which was quite interesting because it is a triangular pool, as you'd expect, but it kind of goes in that notch, I guess, in the house between those 2 points, and part of the house goes over it. It's just really cool. It's kind of like integrated into the shape of the house, which I think was really cool about it. And there's a nice outdoor area you can see I just built there with kind of this hole in the roof, I guess. So it's not like a solid roof, but so you can get some sunlight through it. It would be really cool if you could get those kind of glass floor pieces that The Sims 3 Into the Future had. Those would be really neat in this game. I really like those. But yeah, so this house is interesting in other ways besides its shape. It also has some trees on the roof. You can see I put that hedge there, and there's going to be some grass in that area, which I'm not sure when I put that in, but it's a bit later on. There's also quite a lot of balconies and outdoor spaces on this house, quite a lot more than I normally put in. And also off of the 3rd floor to the right of the 3rd floor, which you can't see now, but there will be a outdoor garden, or a rooftop garden kind of, which is going to be really cool. You'll see that, I think, almost at the end of the video. You can see they're putting the grass in. I don't make the whole roof grass at first, but later I do change it. So in the end, all the roof is grass, which I thought was pretty cool. And you'll see, I just wish that The Sims 4 had like freezes. Like you can make freezes in The Sims 3. There was a cheat, and you could also use constraint for lower elevation. There's also stages in The Sims 3 too, but The Sims 4 doesn't have any of those, so you can't really make like flat roofs look a little bit more interesting. Like they're just plain flat. Like you can't really add anything to them. So it's a little bit disappointing, but it turned out okay. I put some plants on the roof, like in this pattern. It's an interesting pattern, you'll see. So that kind of adds some interest to the roof. Yeah, you can see the colors are also kind of interesting. Like, not really. I mean, you have this white and then you have the gray brick, but the orange paneling kind of adds a pop of color there. And yeah, I do start out with brown windows, and then I change it halfway through, I think, to white because I just was not feeling the brown. I thought it looked kind of cool at the beginning, but that was not the way I kept it. And yeah, you can see, and especially at the back, there are a lot of big windows. You can see that whole triangular peak of the house is just all windows, which makes it look really cool inside and also makes it really hard to furnish as well. But yeah, you can see here these orange triangular parts have kind of these rows of smaller windows as opposed to the large windows. So you know, I thought that made it a little bit easier to put furniture in, especially for the kitchen, because the kitchen would have been really hard with floor-to-ceiling windows. And yeah, so you can see the floor plan is going to be quite a challenge because of the shape of the house. It's just really bizarre. But I do work it out. It takes me a little while, though, a little bit longer than I normally would spend on floor plans. But house ends up being 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So the master bedroom goes on the 2nd floor, which you can see I'm trying to lay out here. And the 3rd floor has 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. So the house ends up being in total 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. So it's actually not as big inside as it looks from outside because of like the overlaps and all the balconies and outdoor spaces and the landscaping. It just makes it look a lot bigger than it really is. But yeah, so inside here, this is going to be the living room and the front part of that giant room, which we've just moved away from. And now I'm putting a window into what will be the dining room. And yeah, so just trying to make this room one solid room, because that angle part there where it meets the patio, the porch, or whatever it is, was causing the rooms to glitch out, which it always does, of course, because it's The Sims 4. And, you know, that was a little bit annoying. But anyway, I just put in all the doors and stuff, so that makes it convenient. And also adding in a half bathroom down here on the first floor, because otherwise your Sims would have to go all the way to the third floor to access the guest bathroom, which would be very inconvenient. Yeah, you can see there's quite a lot of outdoor spaces. There's two kind of porch areas. I don't really want to call them a porch. It's like I don't want to call it a patio either, because it's raised up on the foundation. But, you know, there's two spacious outdoor areas. Also, I put the tile in the kitchen just a moment ago, and I'm putting the tile in all the bathrooms. Also, painting the walls in the living room and on the rest of the main floor this kind of dark grayish blue, which looks really nice with the brick accents. Yeah, I carried the brick inside the house. I carried it through a lot of the house as accent walls, and it turned out looking really nice. It kind of gave the house a little bit more of a rustic feel, maybe? I don't know. Industrial? I'm not really sure. It just looked really cool. And you can see I put this divider here in the main living room. And I started off putting the main living room area in the back, so you got the big TV and the chairs and the couch, but then I ended up switching it with the front part of the room because there was more space in the front, so it just made more sense to have it in the front. But you can see here I got that giant TV. There's actually two of those TVs in this house. There's one in the master bedroom and then this one here in the living room. You can see here's where I switch it over to the other side because it just didn't make sense over there, in my opinion. And yeah, so it's a pretty nice living area. The only issue I had is there's no shades or blinds or anything that goes on these large windows. And it especially is annoying in the bedrooms because in real life you would have blinds on the windows. I mean, you wouldn't just have these huge windows with no window coverings. But in The Sims 4 they don't have any window coverings that fit those large windows, which is really kind of frustrating at times, but it's okay. So this house has no curtains or blinds or anything anywhere. It's just all opened up the outside, which I guess is fine in The Sims. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can see here furnishing the living room. It's a pretty nice living room. It's not huge, but it just is a nice size. It still is able to be cozy despite the house's giant windows and the modern look of it. It turned out quite cozy, this house. I don't know. It's interesting. So yeah, you can see he's putting some railings on the stairs because that's nice to have. And yeah, so just adding in some more details. I was trying to fit a bookshelf under those stairs, but I couldn't. I do put a bookshelf under the stairs on the second floor though, because why not? Anyway, using those plants here on either side of the fireplace, those are from the Perfect Patio stuff, and they're supposed to be used outside, but they seem to work well inside. And you can see here I have a bar in this part of the living room area. I don't even know if I want to classify this as part of the living room because it's kind of like separated from the main living room. I'm not really sure what it should be called, but it's kind of just like an extra bonus area, I guess. So you got a bar here, a fireplace, and it's going to be a sitting area as well. You know, just an area for your Sims to enjoy, I guess. So you have some bar stools there at the bar, and a nice fireplace. There's also a stereo, which is nice to have, and a couple chairs. So, you know, it's just a nice sitting area, I guess, that's in addition to the living room, because the living room is really long and narrow and quite large, so that's why I split it into two spaces, kind of. I think it made a bit more sense. And also, that bar area has a really nice view to the pool, as you can see. It's just got all those large windows that look right out to the pool, which is pretty cool, because the pool goes right up against the house, so that's pretty nifty. And you can see here, I'm just looking for a guitar, which I had to search for, and yeah, some things are annoying, like when you're searching, like it's really nice to have the search feature, don't get me wrong, but some things, like if you search for shelves, then it gives you bookshelves, but if you search for shelf, then it actually gives you shelves. So, I don't know, that was kind of annoying. Like when I was looking for shelves for this wall right here, like it took me forever to find them because I didn't remember where they were, and I was searching shelves, and it kept giving me bookshelves until I searched for shelf, and then it gave me shelves, so yeah, I guess that's fine. Also, annoying thing with these shelves, the two shelves on the right side, I put stuff on them like 3 times. You'll see I keep coming back to put stuff on them with move objects, and the objects in there keep disappearing. Like, I don't know if any of you out there are having issues with objects just disappearing from your houses, but whenever I use move objects or scale objects up in size, they just disappear. And sometimes even if I don't use move objects, like with tables and chairs, sometimes chairs will just randomly disappear from tables. I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but it's very irritating because sometimes I have to keep going back and replacing objects. I don't know. It mainly happens with move objects. I think it's probably some kind of glitch or something. It's just very irritating at times. Finishing up the half bathroom downstairs, which is just basically a pretty simple bathroom just for convenience. And this is a little area by the back door, so this added some decorative objects back here, like a shoe rack, and I think later on I put a what do you call it, a coat rack, that's the word, and some artwork, just some stuff. And yeah, so now we're moving on to the kitchen, which as you can see has a very bizarre shape to it, because part of it is a triangle. So I ended up putting the sink on this angled wall here, which turned out pretty well actually. So you'll see here, I'm able to add these counters against the wall, and I put a sink in them, and that looks pretty cool. And then the refrigerator is over by this wall, and these cabinets on the top didn't join up, so I had to painstakingly put them in with move objects. So it looks a lot quicker here than it did in real life. And also over here is going to be the double ovens. I'm just trying to get those top shelves to line up properly. You can see they're nice double ovens, stoves, tops, whatever. And I wanted to put an island in the middle, but there wasn't enough room, so I ended up using a kitchen table kind of as an island, and I put stools up to it, although they're not usable because it's a table, so you can't use stools with it, but it makes it look kind of like a an island counter or something like that. So adding in some details to the kitchen, trying to find the perfect rack of pots to go over that table there. Going through a lot of options there, but there you go. I just picked a small one. Like, it's way too high up to actually reach in real life, so it's more of just a decorative object than a serious object. And you can see there, those are the unusable bar stools there. Yeah, so that's pretty much the kitchen finish. I'm just going to add some more details to it, some plants and some other stuff that makes it look nice. Also these little lights, what are they called? Pendant lights, I guess? I use them over the bar too. They're really nice actually. I didn't even know they existed in the game until this build, so that's pretty nifty. So you can see here, this is the dining room, and I love these chairs that I use at this table. They're like these clear plastic chairs. I saw them at IKEA, that's probably what they're based off of or something. But they're just so cool looking. I mean, it's like they're like little rounded plastic chairs. They just look cool. Like, they're not really fancy, but they just look so cool. And they go really nicely with the glass table because it's like all see-through. It just looks so nice. I don't know. I was really happy with that. Yes, adding some more details in the kitchen because you can never have enough details. Also, some more shelves. I hate shelves so much in this game because everything disappears from them. But whatever. You can see I'm putting objects back on the shelf here. Because it disappeared, and I think that little the painting on the bottom shelf disappears later. I don't bother putting it back. Anyway, back in the kitchen, or dining room rather, just adding in some more details, and I believe that's the dining room finished. So now we're gonna head upstairs. So this upstairs landing area is quite large actually, and I kind of use it as like a skills space. It's not really a room, but I guess you could call it a room. A skills room. So you got a piano, you have, I think, a violin or something like that, and computer, just all that kind of stuff. And we're not even doing that room, so that's great. I'm talking about something that's not even happening. Actually, what's happening is I'm changing the color of the windows. So you can see here, I'm making those little small windows kind of this golden color, and the large windows all white, which I think looked quite a bit nicer than the brown. So you can see that's what I'm doing here. Quite a lot of color changing. Also changing the trim around this outdoor area to gold, which looked pretty cool. And yeah, so now we're actually going to do not that room. Okay, wow, I'm really bad with my timing. We're doing the patio or porch or whatever it is, the stone on it. Yeah, it took me a lot of tries to find what I wanted to use, but I ended up going with those kind of large paver type things. And oh yeah, here's where I put the garden upstairs. So I use a railing, not a hedge, but I put grass up here. It looks really cool. Yep. Yeah, there we go. You can see there's grass on the whole roof. and it just looks really neat. I really like the way it turned out. And oh, here's where I put the trees on, maybe. But yeah, you can see I'm putting this railing around here, also a door, so the rooftop garden is accessed from one of the bedrooms. And yeah, so you can see putting some planters up here, so your Sims can actually come out onto the roof and actually plant stuff in those planters, which is pretty cool. Oh, here's the trees on the roof, which I was talking about earlier. That looks pretty cool. And I think that's it. I just put 2 trees on the roof, but they just look so cool. I don't know, I think that's neat. And also some hedges up there just to make it look nice. And yeah, this just turned out really nicely. I'm really happy with the way that the roof turned out, because it's just such an interesting design. Oh yeah, and the top roof, I put this chimney up here because there are fireplaces in the house, so you have to have a chimney. And I just made this kind of design with the hedges on the roof, which I thought turned out pretty cool. So it just kind of follows the shape of the house there, so yeah. And if you don't like it, you can just delete it if you download the house, so it's not very hard, just some hedge objects. And yeah, I also end up fencing in the entire property, which is not something that I usually do. I usually never use fences, actually. But I did fence it in with this really interesting fence that I found, that one there, which you saw briefly, but I ended up using it. I started with using this wooden fence, and I didn't like it, and yeah, because it just looked too generic. I don't know, it was just ugly. It would be good for like a small property, but this was just way too much. The hedge was also kind of nice, but I ended up going with this, which looks really cool because it's kind of like got a geometric pattern in it, and I thought that was really neat, so I used that. And we're actually doing landscaping now, which is interesting. So I think I start the landscaping now. I do most of it now, actually. And then I think I do the rest after I finish the rest of the inside of the house. It's just the way I build. For whatever reason, I like start the inside, then I go to the outside, then I go back to the inside, then I go back to the outside. It's just the way that I do things. And then when I come to record these voiceovers, I end up having no idea what I'm doing, because I can't remember what I was thinking 2 days ago when I did this, so that's great. But anyway, you can see I'm putting in a bunch of plants here around this kind of patio, porch, whatever area, because I wanted it to kind of be secluded from the street, because you can see it's like right against the street there. So I just put a bunch of trees and bushes. Also, I had that nice sculpture, which you probably saw for a second. You can see it in the background. It's kind of like this black slab. It's supposed to be like the monolith. Is that what it was called? The monolith from, oh god, what was the movie called? Oh jeez, it was that space movie, and I can't remember now what its name was. That's really unfortunate, but you know, it's like the monolith thing, that black slab. The name will probably come to me eventually, or maybe not, whatever. Anyway, I'm putting some plants in, of course, some more plants, and yeah, just a bunch of flowers, just a bunch of nice little decorative flowers, I guess. Well, I guess all landscaping is decorative, but whatever. Also some patio or walkways and patios and stuff. And also, if you noticed, probably a while ago, I also used that kind of hedge arch by the entrance to the lot. You can see it there. I just love that thing. It's so cool. I used it in my last build, and I just really liked it. It just is a neat little object. I really like that. Anyway, also I put some sand here in the grass because there's a lot of sand around, and I just thought it kind of looked nice. I don't know. And yeah, so now we're going to add some outdoor furnishings to this little grassy balcony, I guess, which is pretty cool. So you can see, just use the perfect patio stuff objects. I use those outside a lot because I think they look really neat. Anyway, this is the skill building room that I discussed a very long time ago when I thought I was going to do it, but now I'm doing it at this time. So it's got a small sitting area, which you can see I put in. It's got an art easel, so they can practice their art or their painting skill. A piano, so they can practice their piano skill. It's also got a little card table / games table or whatever it does, I don't know. Maybe that's skill related, I have no idea. There's also a bookshelf, presumably, I think Sims can read from books and get skills that way. At least you could in The Sims 3, I'm not sure if The Sims 4 has skill books. Probably. A computer, they can build skills on the computer, so a violin, can get their violin playing skill. I don't even know if that's a thing, but music skill or whatever, you know. So it's kind of like an everything room where you can just learn stuff, I guess. You know, it's a great space. It's actually quite convenient because normally, like, you have to find like nooks and crannies in your house to like stick a computer desk, or it's especially hard to find a place for a piano. So it's kind of nice to have it all in one room there. Very convenient. And yeah, so this is the master bedroom I'm working on here. And you can see it's got a nice fireplace and also a balcony that goes out to the front. And it's a really kind of playful furnishing in here, especially with the wall art. So you have this giant pop art of some llamas over the bed, which I thought was so cool. I love that. And you got some kind of bright turquoise lamps and bedspread and stuff. And you also have that giant TV up here as well, which is really cool. That would be very nice to have in your bedroom. And yeah, also a mirror, another mirror, and some plants, just, you know, some nice decorative objects and stuff. I also put another pop art there over the fireplace, which was some plumb bobs. And another art piece there by the TV. And, you know, just some nice decorative objects to make it look more lived in and realistic, you know. I like the way this bedroom turned out. Now, the bedroom was pretty easy to furnish, but the master bathroom was a bit more of a challenge, which you'll see in a moment, because it is a complete triangle. I'm not even kidding, you can see it here. It's just a triangle that I had to make into a bathroom. Luckily, it was quite large, so I was able to fit everything in, but it was a little bit weird. Also, these toilets that I'm using in the house, they're like not against a wall, like they're on this metal pole that can go anywhere. So you can place those toilets anywhere in any room without move objects, and it doesn't have to be against a wall, which is pretty cool. I'm not really sure what those came with, what that toilet came with, but it's pretty neat. I don't know. You can see here, got that accent wall there of brick and stuff like that. You know, of course, that's quite necessary. And, you know, some towels, mat, just a bunch of details and other such things. We're also doing the bathroom on the 3rd floor as well. It's the guest bathroom, and it's got a nice little vanity. I like the kind of angled pieces I used on either side of the sink there. I thought that was pretty neat. You know, it's pretty much the same stuff that the master bathroom has. It's just in a smaller package and also in a rectangular room, so it's quite a lot easier to put together. But yeah, so we have this bathroom. So yeah, just finishing up this bathroom, you can see I have some lights in here and some towels, of course. I just like putting in the towels and the toilet paper and the soap by the sink and just making it look like a real bathroom. I don't know, it's just something I like to do. I did that in The Sims 3 too. It's just a little thing I like to do. Yeah, this is the first bedroom on the 3rd floor, which you can see is also kind of a triangular shape with those windows that look out the front. It was also a bit challenging to furnish, so all the furnishings are against this kind of wall here. And I put the dresser at the end of the bed because there really wasn't another place for it. And pretty much what you see here is all the furnishings in the room. Like, that is it. It's not much. It's got the bed, the nightstand, and the dresser. And it's all against one wall. But it's kind of hard to furnish a room when it's like this weird shape and it's like all windows and stuff, so, you know. Also, this bedroom is the one that has access off to the outdoor garden, or the rooftop garden. I made it green because I thought that maybe a sim that likes gardening would live in this bedroom or sleep in this bedroom. So I made it green just because. And also, there's little leaves on the bed. You can see the bedspread and pillows have leaves on them. Thought that was pretty neat. Yeah, so that's a pretty simple bedroom. It's just got a bed, dresser, nightstands, a couple chairs. It's a bit bigger than the other bedroom, but not by much. So, you know, it's also got a little green tissue box there. You know, you can see green is the in color in this bedroom. Also some leaves, artwork things. Yeah, anyway, we're moving to the outdoor furnishing since we finished the inside. The rooftop garden here gets a little sitting area with a gnome. There's also a nice little fountain down here. And also some chairs for the master bedroom's balcony, which is always nice to have out there. And this area here, this rooftop area, off of the 3rd floor, gets a hot tub. It's the only hot tub on the lot, but it is pretty cool. It's the first time I think I've used a hot tub in one of my houses, so that's pretty neat. You can see there's a nice hot tub, a nice sitting area, and, you know, just a nice rooftop place to hang out, I guess. Yeah, so it's just off the hallway. It's not off a bedroom or anything, but it's still pretty neat. Also, you can see I put these little overhangs over the doors. I thought that was a neat thing to have, you know. Just like, I guess it like protects you from the rain or something if you're standing by a door. I don't know, there's no rain in the game anyway, so what am I talking about? Anyways, a little sitting area over there. Also, all the lighting in the house glitched out, and then I had to go into Edit Town, or whatever, Manage Worlds, whatever it's called, and come back in. Which you did not notice that cut, but I had to do it. Also adding some lighting into the pool, because that's neat. There you go, you can see that. And this area here is going to be a fabulous outdoor kitchen. It actually is really nice. So you have the nice grill, you get the bar, the island here. It's really neat. It's not really an island, I guess, but it's like that L shape kind of island counter bit coming off of the main spot, whatever. You have some nice blue seating, a nice sink. It just turned out really nicely. Quite a lot of space. It's just right off the dining room too, and it's right off the pool, like in between the pool and the dining room. It was like the perfect place. You know, it's just wonderful, really. Also, all the flooring glitched out in the dining room, which was annoying. But yeah, so that's pretty much the outdoor kitchen finished off. So there's a bunch of details and stuff, and also a small dining area outside by the pool, which is nice to have, of course. I noticed The Sims 4 doesn't have lounge chairs like The Sims 3 did, like outdoor lounge chairs, which is kind of annoying. They just have upright chairs that sit at tables. At least last time I checked, that's all they have. Which is kind of annoying, so you can't like put loungers out by the pool or anything, but I guess it's okay. Anyway, we're finishing up the video here. We're doing outdoor lighting, and following this part of the video will be some screenshots, so it'd be great if you check those out. You know. Anyway, I hope you like this house, and leave a comment, tell me what you thought, and please consider subscribing, because I would really appreciate that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and have a wonderful day. Yeah, and I completely missed the ending there. Okay, we're still going, of course, because I'm really bad at this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're done.